Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mexico with myself and Alex Foulkes, bringing you another nice, fun evening of entertainment in Formula Sprint 2 2025. It has been a little bit of a roller coaster this season so far, wouldn't you say, Alex?
That's a relatively polite way of saying what has happened in this season, especially the past couple of rounds. And I haven't actually looked at the DC document for the last race, and somehow it's surprisingly short, Toby. There is a race ban, but it's actually quite short.
Yeah, I think they condensed a lot of the reports into one into one box, which I think is kind of why it looks a little bit short. We're referring to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Kasper Koretz has been removed from the championship for the remainder of the season, and hopefully he will come back at some point, a different driver, because that was not good what happened in Monza, but we won't have to talk about him for the rest of the season. Hopefully he will be back at some point and a little bit more mature and with a few more screws attaching his brain to his neck. That would be nice, because his head completely fell off in Monza. But there we go. So we are now at Mexico. Sandeep Singh's decided to come back to the championship for this round, so he is our de facto championship leader, and he leads by lots.
Is it not one? I think.
I don't think he's won yet, is he? He's not won yet.
Wait, what's the most points you can get?
45 per round.
Okay,
so
he hasn't won yet.
He's not won. The earliest he could win is I guess technically this round, right? If he gets 45, 135.
Junior Lopez would have to retire in both races, score 0 points, and he would have to win both.
Correct. But it's doable. It's potential for Potentia.
It's possible
to clinch the championship with Sandeep Singh drivers wise. I think it's a pretty similar story for
let's have a look at the teams.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't done the maths on this. It's been a fairly foregone conclusion for a little while, really. It's just about when, not if. But yeah, here we are anyway at Mexico. The track limits in GPVWC, I'll remind you, are 2 wheels on the red and white painted curb, otherwise within two wheels within the white lines. So if you see people kind of jumping across the curbing in the middle sector, it is legal as long as they got 2 wheels still on that red and white curbing. So there's a lot of time to be made up in that middle sector as well. On the entry to the final corner here as well, you can use all of that available entry. And Singh will start his first flying lap. Now, this is an interesting track, Alex, whereby, and I say this a few times a season, you can use a wide variety of wing angles and still have a competitive car. Perhaps in FS2, a little bit less so than in some of the other series, but certainly in the top divisions, you could end up with a very wide spread of wing choices, because you have the very, very long start-finish straight, but then it's incredibly twisty through the middle part of the lap.
Yeah, so in FS2, we've seen that straight line speed doesn't actually mean that much, especially what we saw in Monza, where Junior Lopez had that sort of slower high-speed setup, so he wasn't as quick on the straights, but he was better in the second sector, and it did matter quite a bit in the race. Race 1, he won quite dominantly. If you remember back to what happened in Italy, he won by, I think it was about 10 seconds. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was quite a bit as Sandeep Singh slides into the second sector. But I suspect we'll see people running higher downforce setups to try and get the advantage here in this nice twisty bit. The couple of chicanes that we've got there that are relatively flat, and I think you get lost in them. But there is a lot of time to be gained there, as Sandeep Singh, technically, according to that lower third, sets the purple middle sector, but I don't think he did with that giant slide entering it. And you have this sort of simple final sector with the hairpin and one right turn as we go through the longest corner apart from Parabolica, as Sandeep Singh does set the pole time. It wasn't the fastest middle sector, but his first sector was monstrous, almost 5 tenths faster than anyone else.
Yeah, he clearly has well, that could actually be a small timing glitch as well. We've talked about this before, whereby the first sector is delayed and the second sector is not, and they make up for it by the end of the lap. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag when they go through the sector split. But yes, he has set a very, very fast first sector, and his straight line speed is not actually that amazing. He did absolutely nail the first couple of corners. We saw that on board with him. Here's Victor Bernat coming into the stadium section and doing his best drifting impression as he goes in there. This lap will not count. They are using manual track limits in Formula Sprint 2 and Formula Sprint 1 at this round, so this lap will actually count as he crosses the line, but if someone reported it, it would be a penalty, and so Bernat now has to improve on this lap time, or else if he gets reported, he will be found guilty of violating track limits. So something to bear in mind for these drivers. There is no track limits in force right now. It's a manual reporting system. Some sort of problem that we've got with the width of the cars, I believe, in Formula Sprint 2 and 1 that we need to get on top of, but we will do so. There is still track limits, but yeah, as I say, it's not live, if you like.
Yeah, I believe it's a big point of contention in the Nürburgring round we had, where we had that massive page of reports, most of which were just track limits reports for qualifying, which did see some grid penalties for the next race. So we could be seeing grid penalties in the next race. Maybe not for race infractions, but for laps in qualifying that have gone outside of track limits. But that does take quite a bit of time, just going through, watching all the laps of all the drivers to make sure they have stayed within the lines, or I should say within the painted areas of the track, because that does, of course, include the curbs, as you've already mentioned. So yeah, that's why we don't do it manually as well. That's why the DC won't go through and make sure that drivers haven't gone off, and it does have to be reported. But here we are watching Junior Lopez into the second sector. Is not that far behind in sector 1 and through sector 2, through these curvy, twisty bits, and quite far over the curb on the inside. And as we exit the sector 2, past the DRS sign, which we do not have and haven't had the entire season, Junior Lopez does set the second sector's fastest time so far into the final sector, through the hairpin, through the right turn, and towards the final corner of the circuit. Here comes Junior Lopez. Can he displace Sandeep Singh from that pole position? Let's see as he crosses the line. He is only able to set a lap good enough for 6th. And David De Vries, in fact, was able to steal pole position from Sandeep Singh.
Yeah, he's looked quick in qualifying, David De Vries. And in fact, VMS had a reasonably good round, all things considered, at Monza. So we'll see what they are going to be able to do here in Mexico. It's a different track entirely, really. It's all about commitment and precision through the middle sector. And that's where all the time is won and lost, effectively. The first and last sectors are... Well, the last sector has the sort of twizzly bits at the end of the lap through the stadium section, which kind of ruins the last corner, which used to be kind of like a very hair-raising banked thing. But the stadium section's there for the fans, and it goes through the middle of the baseball stadium that's here. And that's why it exists. I do understand the reasoning. It's just a bit of a shame that we don't get to see the final corner at Mexico anymore in all its glory. Tuamala's gone fastest through the first sector, and here he comes into the S's, the fast sweeping corners that sort of define Mexico more than any other part of the lap, really. It's been around since the track itself was in the 80s. You had all of these fast sweeping corners back then as well, and the major changes to the track, probably made by Herman Tilke, they always are, kind of ruined some of the flow, but that middle sector is still there as Tuamala comes to the final couple of corners. He's lost a 10th in that middle sector, and will stay to the right hand side for the shortest run to the line. What can he do as he crosses it? Goes P6 for Scuderia Cap Clay.
Yeah, like you said, Toby, that last sector is sort of not what it used to be. And if you think back a couple of years ago, Formula E did somewhat run the entire final corner with a little chicane beforehand, which was quite interesting to watch. There's many an incident that happened there, of course, due to the just general nature of the corner. But here's Magnus Ockenhaug, who has set the purple sector 1, and through sector 2 it looks clean. Probably not as committed as he could have been, but it was clean, and that's all that really matters if you want to set a decent lap time. Magnus Ockenhaug, 2 tenths down in that second sector, and through the final sector, he didn't take advantage of all the space of the track into that hairpin, but I'm not entirely sure that will matter that much as we watch him take that short line to the line, and he is again taking that 6th position, which has been in the hands of Junior Lopez, Tuamala, and now Magnus Ockenhaug as Philip Savinski. Look at that sector 1, 2 tenths faster, Toby.
Yeah, that is a very good first sector time for Jaminski, but he has lost a little bit. And was he outside limits there? He might have been close. Well, he's messed it up anyway into the tight braking zone of the left-hander in the middle of the stadium section. Into the final corner comes Philip, but unfortunately for him, I don't think this is going to be an improvement. So he will, well, he has continued. So presumably he has fuel for another flying lap because that was a second off his best. Here comes Justin van der Smissen, who, as I said, for VMS has picked up the pace a little bit the last time. He goes P2. Look, VMS 1-2.
Yeah, that will be something I don't think anyone was expecting at the start of the season. We've seen Potentia be one of the strongest teams, but VMS coming out of nowhere after a strong round in Italy, 1-2. As we look at Alex Day, who's had quite a good Sector 1 and Sector 2, pulling into the pit lane. So presumably something happened in that final sector there that caused him to want to abort that lap, because that was looking quite strong from P19. He was possibly looking to be in a similar position to what we saw Justin van der Smissen just do, and pull himself up into the higher part of the top 10. As we're watching him leave the pit lane, and in terms of people who are on laps, we don't really have many. Junior Lopez, again, sets a fairly decent Sector 1, as Victor Manat sets a purple Sector 2, a 35.515, 2 tenths faster than the cars around him. Remco, wake up, I don't want to watch an outlap.
Let's get back to Banat as he comes around the final corner and crosses the line. P2 for Scuderia Freccianera and Victor Banat. Here comes David de Vrij, though. Purple in that middle sector as well, less than a tenth down in the first. Where's Sandeep Singh's pace? Well, he's only less than a tenth off, to be fair to him, but I would have expected him to come back and top the timesheets like he has done recently, as David de Vrij comes through the final corner, crosses the line, P1.
And look at the margin he gained there, 1.5 tenths. Now separates himself and Victor Banat. His Sandeep Singh, he is running out of most of the field the lowest downforce setup. I mean, he's matched only by his teammate on the straight, 553.5 kilometers an hour through the speed truck compared to David de Vrij.
553?
Yes, they are going more than a Formula 1 car, 253, compared to the 249 of David de Vrij, who is our current pole sitter. So 4 kilometers difference on the straight. Is it worth that difference in the second sector? Currently only accounting for 2 tenths, could be quite important during the race. But let's see, what can Sandeep Singh do on his second attempt? Not looking great through the first corner, a bit of a slide, but maybe that worked in Sandeep Singh's favor to get the extra rotation as Mark Sialagi makes himself into a decent position, up into P5. And wow, look at that. Sandeep Singh setting the fastest Sector 1.
Yeah, but it isn't. It might be purple against the leader, but it's not his best first sector. And this is indicative of that slide that he had in turn 1, as you said. And it's also indicative, as you say, of his straight line speed. He has got very good top speed. This is not going to work. In fact, he's backed out. Look. So Singh is going to go again. He does have time to box, do an outlap, and then 2 flyers just. If he just gets into the pit lane in time, he will be able to put a fresh set of boots on and do 2 flyers, but he might just consider it too tight, and he's got enough fuel to do another flyer. He's definitely saving his tyres, like 2.5 seconds down in the middle sector. No one's really on a lap. Kurt Rochjav has gone P11 for Excellion. But other than that, we are... Yeah, there's a few drivers further down the pack setting lap times. We've got some newer faces that we need to talk about as well when we can. But David de Vrij, look at this, another 10th up on his existing pole time. So David de Vrij, clearly VMS have got something going on. Track limits mostly.
I think that was relatively clean. That maybe he went off track. I'm assuming Toby's being pestered by either Dash or one of the cats.
We'll give you that
probably
impression.
get- Oh well, just the sudden that happens. So which one was it, Toby?
Yes.
Cat?
Yes.
Okay. She's still eating your plant. Anyway, David
yes.
Debris, slightly down in the second sector through the final corner. Can he improve the gap he has in first position across the line? Not taking the shortest line, and he doesn't improve, but doesn't really matter unless someone is able to steal that position from him in the dying moments. Here's Sandeep Singh, again, technically purple in Sector 1 and improving in Sector 2. Only, well, never mind. That's a valid response, I think, to the mistake he made. And P2.
He wishes. Watch them all do that, by the way, at the end of the race. They leave that completely open so you can go into that podium section. Ockenhaug, look at this. This is a good lap time so far. Can he improve from 8th place? No, somehow. I think he improved his time, but didn't improve his position there. So unfortunate for Ockenhaug. He has got one more opportunity. Here's Alex Day for ST Racing. This is a replacement, and Alex goes to P21. Who else is on a lap? Ockenhaug we just saw complete one, so he potentially has the chance to. Oh, here comes James Knox. Now he's had decent pace towards the back end of this season, I suppose. Can he keep it on the island through this middle sector and maintain that split that he has so far? Purple in Sector 1, Alex.
Yeah, he was struggling a little bit in those last two corners there. Getting onto the curb, got pushed out wide, but was able to keep it within the track limits. And he's done exactly what Sandeep did on his flying lap. So this lap will not count, even though it could possibly still be an improvement. I would imagine James Knox does not want to improve that lap and will want to pull into the pit lane. Oh, he's going for it.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, they're good stuff. Yeah, well done. By the way, why is there just a concrete wall at the end of that pit lane? That's not ideal if it was in IRL. Victor Bernat,
not like that?
I don't know. I assume it's not just concrete. That would be silly.
There's probably Armco and like crush zone there, I'd imagine, surely.
I'd imagine also. Here's Victor Bernat coming through the final corner into the wall, pushing as hard as he can in this final lap. And yeah, in fact, Tuamala's pipped him to P2. Look at that.
Where did that come from? I haven't a clue. I didn't even notice.
Didn't see it?
No. No one's on the lap still. So
no.
Yeah, we're amazing commentators.
Do we do our very bestest?
Do we do, or we do?
Do we? David the Free, P1 for VMS unedited. Mikhail Tuamala, P2. Victor Bernat took 3rd position. Anders Schmissen, P4. Sandeep Singh down in 5th, but with an absolute rocket ship in his car. Mark Shalagi in 6th place for RNG. Junior Lopez 7th. James Knox in 8th place. Look at the times, it's very close, isn't it? Philip Chavinsky in 9th position, and Magnus Ockenhaug rounding out the top 10. P11 was Thijs Jongstra, Kurt Rotiav in 12th, Andrea Kanaya in 13th. Juho Sopanen is now driving for Priority 1 in 14th. Johannes Leppit 15th. Joe Gillette for Hunter Birch in 16th. Christian Glamsetter 17th position. 18th went to Domenico Scapelli. Danny Robbins in 19th and Dan Hutt in 20th position. 21st was the aforementioned Alex Day with Charlotte Menink in 22nd place. Kiri Kratovsville for the Academy team in 23rd. Hopefully he's got his glasses on today. Christian Valstar in 24th for RGS. And Caroline Harvey in 25th place. Eric Brenner for RGS in 26th. Lorenzo Eterovic Funcic in 27th place. And Alfie Denley did not set a time.
Beautifully done. We're missing 4 cars, and we'll figure it out during the warm-up. We've got plenty of time to do that. We did try this last time, and we ended up completely guessing wrong. Is there an academy team fielded today? There isn't.
What Cratchfield was there?
No?
Cratchfield.
Were they? There's only one academy car. Yiri.
Hughie. Tough for Hughie.
Yeah, we don't have that sound.
No. Welsh people have that sound.
Welsh is not it's not real. I refuse
You
to believe
nearly
it's
said
real.
Welsh is not a language, and I was about to very, very shout at you. Welsh is very a language. I'm not Welsh, but I live here.
Do you speak any?
A little bit. Borda.
Can you say the full name of Clanfair Puignil?
Let me open it first. Hang on, here we go. I have tried to practice this. Llanfair Quinn Gil Cogerich Rindrob Lanticilio Gogogok. That was pretty good, by the way. That's not. I need to practice this.
That was quite good, to be fair. It's better than some of them I've heard.
My daughter sings a song every morning. When they go into school, they sing the Borada song. So they go, Borada, Borada, Setwaiti, da iawn diolch, Borada.
Jesus.
Which means, good morning, how are you? Good, thanks. Good morning.
Awesome. Incredible conversation.
Diolch yn fawr. Which means thank you very much.
Incredible.
Hope you've learned something today, Alex, that you will not retain.
I have not. I will not be remembering this.
My comment's useful. GPV Day is is in Liverpool, and there's quite a few North Walians who have made the journey over from North Wales, and they now reside in Liverpool because it's obviously in England, and that's the better country. but yeah, I'll get it out, get my Welsh out, and see what happens.
I mean, you have a bridge from Wales to, well, not from Wales, but from just the border-ish into Liverpool, so it's quite an easy drive from North Wales, really. You've got maybe a couple of motorways, and that's it. And I think even from South Wales, you've got a couple of motorways, and that's it.
Hey, we've got a whole motorway in Wales. It's called the M4.
That's that's not what I meant.
Yeah. There's not that many motorways in the UK, to be honest with you. It's like, once you get past Birmingham, there's only 2 that go north. Can you name them, Alex?
That would be the M6 and the M1.
Well done.
It's almost like I basically live next to the M6 and have to deal with that.
Which side of the M6 are you on? I think we've had this conversation, but I'm not gonna doss you, but
what side?
What side? Yeah, west or east?
Oh well, no, because that narrows it down quite a bit. Because there's one side that has
lots of land to the east. So he lives on the west.
Well, the east of it. You got Birmingham, you got Stoke, you got Manchester, literally everywhere that most people live.
But Alex is in England and lives to the west, so therefore you can narrow it down.
Good luck.
Yeah. I mean, at least you don't live like in the Lake District. Actually, it would be sick to live in the Lake District. Well, there's nothing there, though, is there? It's like tourism and then dead for the rest of the year.
That's where you go and live, like, in the middle of Wales. I think that's...
You don't live at...
There's not much
nobody
going on.
lives in... Exactly.
Exactly! That's the point! It's better than the Lake District.
I think it's the same.
Better.
It's the same, probably. If you go to, like...
Yeah,
if you're, like, in mid-Wales, in Powys, which is the county, which literally means middle, then there's nothing there. Like, at all.
Oh, Remco, can we get the slider graphic, please? Just...
Oh, yeah, slider graphic. There's a town called Welshpool that's quite close to Shrewsbury, but that's about it. But yeah, I live near Cardiff, so I get lots of nice things happen in Cardiff. Nice city. It's where the GPVWC day should be.
I knew you were going to say that because I was going to ask, but you know.
I did suggest it, but it was fairly. I mean, we've been there before in like 2015 or something.
To be fair, Liverpool is much better than the suggestion. I think it was relatively north in Scotland. We were looking at Edinburgh, I think we were.
Edinburgh.
No, it's...
Would have been lovely. But no, we didn't go to Edinburgh. We went to Liverpool.
That would have been too far for most people, I think, because there's more... It's easier to get to England than it is to get to Scotland, because you have Edinburgh as the major airport for Scotland, but I don't think it has that
or
many.
Glasgow. It's like there's two options. Yeah.
Whereas,
I have to say, like Birmingham would have been quite good as well. But yeah,
yeah,
it was a good night out, Birmingham.
Liverpool's quite good because it's got its own airport, Liverpool John Lennon, and then it's got Manchester Airport.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to give the full names of the airport. Manchester Ringway Airport. You got Birmingham International, which I was surprised at what flies into Birmingham. If you look at it,
planes
quite
usually
big plane. Oh, well, I hope they don't fly into Birmingham because that would be terrible.
Stupid jokes. They're both really stupid.
What do you mean to do GPVWC Day out of the UK? It was in Poland last year.
Yeah, we do it every other year. We do UK because it's the best country in the world.
Yep.
And then alternate years we go to mainland Europe somewhere usually. One year it'll be held in like what?
Wasn't the one in Malta as well?
I don't know if it's. Have you actually been to Malta?
I feel like there was one. It might have been the COVID one, and it was just held in Malta.
I think they didn't. Let me have a look.
It's on the website.
It is. I'm having a look now.
Hmm.
You're right. 2019.
See, I can remember when the 2019 GPVWC Day, but God forbid I remember anything that happened last race.
2016 was Cardiff. They've done 3 different Milton Keynes as well, which is annoying. They did Silverstone in 2018, Milton Keynes in 2021, and then Leighton Buzzard in 2023, which I went to. But Leighton Buzzard is essentially Milton Keynes. They're next to each other. And Silverstone's like down the road as well. So it's nice to see a different part of the UK for once. First one was held at Alton Park. That would have been good, wouldn't it?
I was probably like 2.
Hang on. The first one was held on the 22nd of October, 2011. Oh no, sorry. I am. Okay, there's a problem with the dates.
I would have been 4.
Shush. I would have been 20. I would have been 4. You're old enough to drink now, though.
Yes, that is true.
You can actually come out with us in Liverpool.
That's the one thing that was stopping me from going to GPVWC Day, obviously.
Well, yeah, not the fact that it was in Poland in the middle of winter.
No. Yeah, not that, no.
There's nothing wrong with Poland, it's just cold. In winter. Not that the UK is much warmer, to be fair. Just in fact,
it's black there, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's just wet, isn't it? To be fair, that time of year in the UK, it's already started. It's been raining for weeks now.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Couple of weeks, isn't it? Probably.
I mean, I went out of my car today, and it just started absolutely. The heavens just opened magically. It went from perfectly clear to heaviest rain you've ever seen. Really?
Heaviest rain you've ever seen.
That's not true. But heaviest rain that's just come from nowhere is.
What?
Which one was it? Go on.
This is Petal, of course. She's back to irritate me.
I think that's the loudest meow we've heard on stream. We've heard a way like at the door, but I'm assuming that one was on the desk.
Oh, she's right by the mic. Yeah, there's nothing I can do, unfortunately. She just appears from nowhere and like lands on me. I've had Petal since 2019. She's 6 now. Getting to be an old girl, aren't you? She's the OG.
The OG cat.
Yeah.
It's true. She is.
I now have 3 cats. They're nice.
Why do you keep saying you keep saying yes? I know you keep saying yes.
I know. Oh, I'll tell you who else said yes.
I think we know the answer.
My missus said yes the other day. Asked her to marry me.
Oh, congratulations.
I did put it on GPVWC, but you don't care about my news.
Well, I don't look there, do I really? You should know
You
this.
don't look at GPVWC Discord.
It's a better fit place if I don't, to be honest.
Is it? Is it? Fair enough.
In recent times, yes.
I hope FS2 doesn't fall on my wedding day. That would be a fun live stream, wouldn't it?
I would be very surprised if you pick a Tuesday to get married on, to be fair.
Yes. Yeah, no, probably not.
Not a popular choice.
Well, people do midweek weddings quite often, to be fair. It's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know which of my mates escape like cheap. What am I trying to say? Cheapskates, yeah. Because their weddings are like midweek. The fun ones are like the fun ones are Saturday night. They're the good ones because you can go full ham. You haven't got work in the morning.
Maybe if you're the person being married, but I don't think if you're attending, not so much.
Warm up is over, Alex. It's time
Already?
to be serious.
Well, you have jokes you want to tell? Just get them out of the way.
It's time to watch race 1. I should say that, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Do I have any jokes I want to tell?
Yeah. Oh God.
I'm trying to think of a PC one.
Oh God. Breaking news: GPVWC Formula Sprint 2 gets cancelled. With a commentator remark.
Right, here we go. 18 laps then. It's quite a long race, isn't it? It's going to go on a while, this, isn't it? 18 laps. It's only 13 in Monza, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think Monza was a bit longer. A lap.
Not that much longer, was it?
Let's have a look at the results, and then
I'll be here all night.
Oh. Okay. Hold on. I am looking, and I am trying to find the results, but it's not showing me them, so I'll go to the website instead, shall I? Results. And Italy. The qualifying, please. Okay, yeah, so qualifying was a minute 45-ish, 42 technically. And we're looking at a minute 31, a minute 30 fastest laps in qualifying, so about 14 seconds less per lap. Which across 13 laps is quite a bit. I don't know what 13 times 13 is. Do you know? 13 times 13
69, is it? I don't know.
Yes, it is. which is 3 minutes, so 2 extra laps. Time-wise, it's going to be longer than Monza.
Well, yeah, because it's 18 laps. The race.
Yeah, it's 18 laps.
Good.
Incredible.
Where are we at next? After Mexico, by the way. Oh, Singapore. That'll be good. What's going on here? Why aren't we in the race session yet? There we go. Lovely calendar. Mexico, then Singapore, then Brazil, then Abu Dhabi to finish the season off. I think the championships in Formula Sprint 2 might be done by the time we get to Brazil, but certainly the other championships might be a little more spicy when we get there.
Yeah, it wasn't as close as it was last season. Last season we had a battle going down to the very last race, which was quite exciting. This season we've got, well, this, where we've had some major bans of basically everyone who was in the running of the championship, and as such, Sandeep Singh has, I don't want to say ran away with it, because it's still absolutely possible that Lopez does win it, but that will take a lot of miracles to happen for the Cap Clay team. You never know, could happen. We are in the race session.
We are now finally into the race session. Obviously some tricky admin or something to tidy up there. But yeah, here we go. So yeah, let's get our thinking hats back on as they line up onto the grid. So yeah, it will be an interesting one, this one, when it David de Vries on pole position. I wonder if that's his first pole position. It doesn't really tell you, I don't think, in the results and statistics page. Let's have a look. See if there's an easier way for me to see this now. You'll be surprised to know, everyone, that I do not have an encyclopedic knowledge of every single driver. Away they go then on the formation lap.
And while you Google that. Or...
No, I got it. David de Vries on pole position. First pole in GPVWC. Michael Tuamala alongside him in the Scuderia Cap Clay. Victor Bernat in P3, and fourth is Justin Mather-Schmissen. Sandeep Singh in fifth place with Mark Shalagi for RNG in sixth. P7, Junior Lopez, and P8, James Knox. P9, Philip Javinsky for Priority 1 with P10, Magnus Ockenhaug. P11, Thijs Jongstra. And 12th is Kurt Rotiar for Excellion. 13th place goes to Andrea Kanaya, and 14th for Juho Soppanen. Johannes Leppit in 15th position with Joe Gillette just behind in 16th place for Hunter Birch. 17th is Christian Glamsetter, with 18th place going to Potentia's Domenico Scapelli. Danny Robbins for Mapeswo in 19th, with Dan Hutt in 20th for his eponymous team. Charlotte Menink in 21st position with Jiri Hratochville in 22nd, Christian Vadstar in 23rd, and Eric Brenner in 24th. Lorenzo Eterovic Funcic in 25th place with Alfie Denley in 26th, Alex Day 27th, and Caroline Harvick 28th position. The field are coming around the final couple of corners now on their formation lap. Alex, who's going to win?
That's a difficult question. I'm going to say it's going to be one of the VMS cars, and I would love to see David de Vries take the win from his very first pole position. I don't think he'll be easy, though. He's got quite a bit of talent behind him, notably Sandeep Singh, who is running the lower downforce setup, which might give him the advantage on the straights during the race. It didn't work for him quite as well in qualifying, but you never know. 18 laps, and like you said, quite a lot of time for something to happen here.
Plenty of time for something to happen. I think lots will. It's usually a little more spicy in race 2. Hopefully we get a nice clean one to start the evening off. It's Mexico. It's Formula Sprint 2. The cars are lining up on the grid. What could possibly go wrong? Let's find out. As we start the countdown for the lights, there will be 5, but there's 2 now. Then there's 3, 4. Then there's the 5th one. Away we go. Formula Sprint 2 Race 1 begins, and straight away from the start, Tuamala gets a better jump on David the Free as they nestle in, slipstreaming one another down towards turn 1. Sandeep Singh, we know he's got a straight line speed advantage. It's a very long run, and in fact David de Vries got back at Tuamala as they come down into turn 1 for the first time. 3 and 4 wide, through back on the inside goes David de Vries, and he goes sweeping around the outside of turn 2, just takes himself out of track limits, but he's got the lead. Singh has not been able to make any positions up from the start. In fact, he's been boxed in by Banat there, trying to go down the middle of 3 and now to the inside, but further forwards we look at David de Vries defending. Tuamala on the inside trying to get through, and I think they're going to go side by side for this major part of this middle sector here, and they're going to go side by side into the sweepers. Who's going to win out on top, Alex?
Well, David de Vries has the inside, and as such, Tuamala does back out. Justin Van Smissen getting on the back of this fight as well, possibly trying to make it a VMS 1-2. Sandeep Singh lost 2 positions off the start. Now down in P7, James Knox and Victor Banat ahead of him. He's got a lot of work to do now as we head into these 17 more laps, but ahead of him, James Knox on the inside of Victor Banat, which turns into the inside for Victor Banat into the hairpin. But he does make contact, in fact, with Junior Lopez. James Knox will have to stick behind for now. Sandeep Singh did have a bit of overspeed there, but it wasn't enough to make a move into that final corner. But onto the straights, here's where Sandeep Singh's advantage will be, with that lower downforce setup in the slipstream of Victor Banat and James Knox. And he has such an overspeed of these 2 cars. He has to take the middle lane. And now, 3 wide into turn 1, James Knox will have the inside line and will be breaking the latest. Sandeep Singh backs out of that battle. Victor Banat battling away with James Knox. James Knox looks to have taken that position, but both run up the track outside of turn 3. But James Knox up into P5 with a rather convincing move. Justin Van Smissen ahead, battling away down the inside, looks down the inside, doesn't go for the move of Tuamala, but it has allowed David de Vries to make quite a gap as Sandeep Singh has been overtaken by Thijs Jongstra, who's actually managed to get himself up into P5, battling away with James Knox. There's a bit of contact with Victor Banat. Sandeep Singh's onto the grass, but we'll have the inside into the S's, and Victor Banat tries to hold on to that position. I think he will have to give that one back. He went off track and was holding on to that 7th position, and that's exactly... I thought that's exactly what he was about to do, but look at this gaggle of cars there. Victor Banat does let Sandeep Singh by, but subsequently, he's caused absolute chaos behind him. 6 cars in this frame, and Philip Savinsky down the inside. There's contact, and Kurt Rodsharp's around.
Yeah, I think Singh possibly still had an overlap alongside Banat. I don't know if Banat wasn't kind of forced there, but then he did take advantage leaving the track. It was one of those 50-50 ones, but Rochav, I think it was a big bundle of cars. Something was going to happen, wasn't it? But David de Vries got away at the front of the pack, hasn't he? Absolutely flying along. This is pace we've not seen all season so far, as Tuamala is dropped back from him, having to defend from Van Smissen and Lopez. But yeah, it's there's been a bit of squabbles. Coke Rochov goes round, and there you go.
Yeah, and Justin Van Smissen was temporarily in that 2nd position, but now defends like a lion from Junior Lopez, who down the inside into turn 4. This contact, and Junior Lopez outbraking himself, but is hit by Justin Van Smissen. He might not have been entirely entitled to space there, but you know, the contact still happened. But Justin Van Smissen subsequently has fallen back a little bit of Tuamala, but like you say, David de Vries with a pretty comfortable gap behind him, looking strong in this race, provided he doesn't make any mistakes. This win is, at this point, his to lose. That gap, if he's able to keep it the same, will carry him to a race win, provided his teammate also doesn't attack Tuamala, which was the main cause of that gap there. But back to the major battle in the midfield, and I believe that was Alex Day going off track, trying to get past Andrea Shania in the Scuderia Freccianera, and it looks like he has done for P16. Joe Gillette and Juho Sopanen in sync, touching their rear wheels into the barrier on the outside of the final corner, but along the slipstream fest. Juho Sopanen, in fact, has a great run for P13 on Joe Gillette here, as Justin van der Smissen is passed by Junior Lopez for P3. Joe Gillette on the inside. Alfie Denley looks to the inside in Hans Lapit, but doesn't go for the move, and free wide further back as Shania is on the inside and is able to take advantage of Dan Hutt and Alex Day, but only temporarily, as Alex Day holds on to that P16 position. Here's a battle at the front. James knocks down the inside of Van der Smissen. Van der Smissen down the inside of Junior Lopez. They were free wide, and there was a bit of contact there.
There was a bit of contact there, I agree. To be honest with you, it's been a bit up and down for Sandeep Singh so far as well. Look, he's lost a couple of positions. Thijs Youngstra gaining 5, and Victor Bernat as well. I think he was defending too hard, to be honest with you, in the early stages. Has now lost 6 positions. Alfie Denley up 14 from the back of the pack. Keep an eye on him as he comes through the field. But Junior Lopez, once again, I do wonder about Junior Lopez. If he'd have just stayed out of trouble this season, he could have put a much more effective title fight together. But he's just got involved in too many of those little incidents where there's contact and it damages his car, takes away some of his pace, and he struggles, doesn't he, to get back and into what is going on here between Charlotte Menink and that's Kanaya, isn't it, and Rochav, who's recovering. Some squabbling in the stadium section, but they are fighting over sort of the back end of the points here, as James Knox and Van der Smissen banging wheels down the start-finish straight and into turn 1, and James Knox just about holds on the outside.
Yeah, Van der Smissen has sort of fell from grace. He was up in P2, but has subsequently lost positions along that main straight, where it does seem to matter the most about slipstream and straight line speed. Alex Day, further back, has retired from this race, but Charlotte Menink for Venus Motorsports is looking to get their second spell of points this season, which is quite motivating. But Kurt Rochav is battling away with that Venus Motorsports car and is quite close to the rear diffuser of it, in fact, as we head into the second sector. Kurt Rochav pushed a little bit to the inside there, loses a bit of time, but end of the day, a bit of that is racing, and he still has 13 laps to go as David De Vries at the front. 4 seconds now between himself and Mikel Tuamala, and 5 laps in. This is looking to be another absolutely dominant race 1 from some of the drivers, as he's already coming up on lapped traffic. And for David De Vries, this is quite comfortable now. 4.2 seconds as Junior Lopez approaches the back of his teammate into turn 1. I imagine this won't be made too difficult for Junior Lopez, and that seems to be the case in his chase for contention for the championship. Does move up to P2 and moves on, setting his sights onto David De Vries, as Sandeep Singh behind, still only in 7th, lost 2 places from the start, but he's not far behind of gaining a few positions as you look ahead. 4 cars ahead of him, and that could take him to P2.
Yeah, he's still got a bit of work to do, hasn't he? But the gap between, I mean, where's this pace come from David De Vries? He hasn't had this all season. And he started the season 26th, 24th, 19th, 20th, didn't score a point until Saudi Arabia, and suddenly is over 4 seconds ahead of Junior Lopez. It's a wild turnaround, a little bit of an interesting one. I'll keep an eye on him, but yeah, it's certainly doing a very good job right now to be 4 seconds ahead of Junior Lopez, who we know is very quick. But yeah, let's see what Sandeep Singh can do from where he is now. He just needs to pick up points, doesn't he, honestly? This is what happened to Alex Day. As you say, we saw him running wide into the stadium, didn't we, there? And he did that. And then down the inside, nothing wrong with that particularly. He did retire, so something must have happened to him. Okay, that was the one off-track moment. And then later on, back into the stadium again. Oh dear.
Ah, that's what happened.
That's he never braked, by the way. He just turned left into the wall and went full throttle. That was a bit disappointing, having tagged the back of Charlotte Menink. Don't like that at all.
I have a feeling that was R factor 2 physics that sent him into the wall, but nonetheless.
Have a look at his. Go back and have a look at his throttle trace. It was not ideal at all. Literally. Watch his throttle trace here. Never came off the throttle. Strange.
Interesting.
I don't know what I'm looking at half the time this season, to be honest with you. It's a bit of a battle. As we go to Magnus Ockenhaug, who, to be honest with you, has been one of the better drivers standards-wise this season, and even he's been involved in the odd couple of shindigs. He is in 9th place for Hunter Birch now, chasing down Victor Bernat, who's lost a bunch of positions. James Knox is behind Junior Lopez still, and in fact is kind of within range here for a nice little slipstream as they head down towards turn 1.
Sorry, yeah, Justin van der Smissen down the inside of Tuamala, who's fallen back a couple of positions as James Knox has got him, but Justin van der Smissen on the inside, just constantly making contact with Tuamala there, and that is inevitably what was going to happen there as Thijs Youngstra gets past and onto the back of Tuamala, and just constantly rubbing through turn 1 and turn 2. Maybe something went on back there that caused that sort of rubbing that was going on there. But here's Victor Bernat, who, like you said, defended a little too hard in the opening laps of the race, now battling away with Magnus Ockenhaug into the second sector, looking to get up to P8, and I don't think he'll be getting much further than that. And I don't think many of these drivers will be getting much further than that unless something monumental happens to any of the drivers ahead, which absolutely could happen, as Sandeep Singh has closed in on that pack ahead of him and is now well within slipstream range to start gaining some position, start gaining towards the podium and towards those higher points paying positions to hopefully secure the championship for him. But here's Sandeep Singh, like I said, with the slipstream, with the higher speed through the speed trap. He was 253 in qualifying, now with slipstream on the main straight. What can he do with that extra overspeed? And it looks like not that much. He's quite a distance back from Justin van der Smissen, but it's starting to ramp up now as we head towards turn 1. That distance closing rather rapidly as Sandeep Singh looks to the inside and onto the brakes. There you go. Sandeep Singh still there with Justin van der Smissen. There's contact once more, but Sandeep Singh seems to think better of it and is able to stay in a straight line and stay relatively competitive. But look ahead as Thijs Youngstra and Mikael Tuamala battle with one of the blue flags runners. I think something happened there, because I think Thijs Youngstra was not ahead of Tuamala.
Something happened. He was. What race were you? What were you watching?
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Thijs Youngstra was ahead. I think the camera just obscured him potentially.
It just looked a lot worse than it did. Interesting.
Yeah.
Charlotte Menink's now out.
Yeah, Menink's now out. Ooh. I mean, and so nearly held it, but to be honest, she probably has quite a lot of rear end damage from that assault by Day.
The assault. That's what we're calling it. Sandeep Singh's a lot closer this time to the back of Justin van der Smissen along the main straight, and defensive moves we're making, weaving across the width of the track as Sandeep Singh on the back of that VMS car once more, but this time more convincingly alongside into turn 1 and more convincingly ahead as he does make his first bit of progress towards the podium, takes P6 from Justin van der Smissen, but van der Smissen right on the back diffuser of that Potentia car, not looking to lose the position so easily. Sandeep Singh defending the inside and will stay ahead and will now set his sights on chasing down Mikel Tuamala, the next car ahead, but Justin van der Smissen still not giving up the fight. But I imagine that will come quite quickly to an end in this second sector. The twisty bit here, as the dirty air will cause him to lose quite a bit of time from the back of the Potentia car, and won't be quite as close as he has been in previous corners.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well, with Singh's straight line speed, he'll be able to get out that final corner and run away down the start-finish straight, which is how his car's been set up. Lots of fans here today, look, as we go through the stadium section and into the final couple of corners. And yeah, so Singh still ahead of van der Smissen. It's interesting, isn't it? You'd never see empty stands in GPVWC, do you? But today, not a soul.
I don't think I've ever looked at the stands, to be honest. But Sandeep Singh about to claim his next victim into turn one. And that will be Mikel Tuamala, who I don't think will put up much of a fight, and indeed he doesn't. Sandeep Singh moves up to P5 and now chases down Thijs Jungstra. He's got 1.6 seconds to make up here, as Magnus Oggenhaug has been passed by Victor Bernat. And
the man in the crowd goes wild for that move. Down
I don't even think there's a single person.
There must be someone in those vehicles. Are we in? Is it COVID?
It must be.
As we go into
no, we need the cardboard cutouts of people at least.
Oh, right, yeah, true. Do you remember that? That was fun, wasn't it? All the football
awesome.
games.
In the stadiums, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, into the final sector then we go. And 5.6 seconds. Something's not right with... look, David de Prix has either practiced every day for 12 hours a day for the last 2 weeks, or something's not right, because his results this season do not reflect what's happened in this first race, I'm afraid. It's yeah, it's something's going on here that I don't understand, because Junior Lopez is 5 seconds back and losing time, and he's won 3 races this season. Sandeep Singh down in P5, nowhere near this pace, and David de Prix is just lapping people and 5 seconds in the lead. It's yeah, something's not right. I don't know what it is, unless David de Prix has done loads of practice for this round. I can't put my finger on it, I'm afraid.
In all fairness, Junior Lopez does have the fastest overall lap time of the race, and it's being chased down by James Knox in fairly legitimate battle we're watching here, which will develop as we head onto the straights, and that gap will close monumentally, as James Knox will have only Lopez to slipstream off of, and Lopez will have no one unless this lap traffic remains ahead until the start finish straight, which I imagine they will have to let by, although there's quite a fierce battle there going on between I think that's Mark Silagi and Lorenzo Eterovich, I should say. I apologize, but James Knox carving through these two drivers along with Mikel Tuamala, and in fact, not Mikel Tuamala, Junior Lopez, sorry, and Junior Lopez will have slipstream. Not what I said would happen, but Junior Lopez now does have some chance of defending his P2 position into turn one, as they both head onto that long straight, as James Knox seems to be falling slightly shy of the slipstream range that he kind of wants to have, and I think Junior Lopez is being helped along by Mark Silagi in that Team RNG car ahead, and I think that's enabling him to keep that gap, as we've had, I think, Lorenzo Eterovich Funcic come into the pit lane.
Yeah, so must have been some sort of damage for Lorenzo, so that's a shame for him. But here is the battle we were talking about, James Knox versus Lopez, as they come out of turn one, coming up behind a lapped car that is one of the Team RNG vehicles, as van der Smissen is battling away here with the other cap clay of Tuamala, who started so brightly in this race and has just fallen away a little bit pace-wise, which is a shame for Tuamala. And van der Smissen has obviously dropped a couple of positions from his starting position as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether Knox can get ahead of Lopez in the final few laps of this race and take P2.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the battle to watch in these last 5 laps as Tuamala clawing back the position from Justin Van der Smessen. That doesn't seem... Where Tuamala lost positions now. He was P5 a few minutes ago, and now he's been overtaken by Sandeep Singh and Justin Van der Smessen. I don't remember that happening. I also don't remember Victor Van Aert catching up to this pack as well. I did say they were only going to be fighting for 8, but apparently now they're fighting for P6 and is currently fighting for P8 with Magnus Ockenhaug, who is right on the rear diffuser of that Scuderia Schrecky and Erika. And into turn 1, Ockenhaug chooses the inside line. Victor Van Aert chooses the outside line. And with the defense that he can still make, goes as far to the outside as possible, and Ockenhaug chooses not to force the battle there, chooses to try and make that overtake at a better time as we have 5 laps to go. Alfie Denley now on the edge of the points, battling away with Kurt Rochov for 2 points instead of 1 through turn 1, tries to make the move but is unable to do so.
Yeah, and they're now, so we're watching, well, we were just watching the battle for the lower end of the top 15. A reminder that it's a reverse grid that we get for race 2, so it is important to get into those positions, and you obviously have the opportunity then to get to the front of the field for race 2. And yeah, it's one of those where you kind of, sometimes you want to be 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that. But remember a few years ago in BTCC where they used to try to finish P8 in order to get a reverse grid position for the following race. It was a fun thing to watch people battling for first and then trying to battle to slow down for 8th. Thankfully we have the randomizer involved, so it's not just like P10 and you get pole.
Well,
the randomizer except
debatable.
P11.
Yes. I'm genuinely convinced at this point Chris does not randomize it, but we've got a battle here. Magnus Ockenhaug tries to go for the inside, but Victor Van Aert wanted that to try and get past Mikhail Tuamala. Victor Van Aert on the inside now becomes a battle with Tuamala, but Tuamala with the better speed on that outside keeps the order the same for now. But Victor Van Aert will have the slipstream into turn 4 and into the subsequent complex. Tuamala tries to defend the outside. Victor Van Aert goes for the outside and subsequently switches back to the inside and is still battling away with Tuamala. Tuamala not as quick as Victor Van Aert wanted there, and is still on the rear diffuser of that Cap Play car, but into the S's section. That gap will grow, but I think this is going to be a battle until the end as more cars are getting involved now. Philip Savinsky now chains on to the back of this train here and will be in the slipstream range and will be in the attacking range potentially of going up against Mikhail Tuamala. We saw Victor Van Aert do it last lap. We saw Magnus Ockenhaug do it last lap as we head through the penultimate section and onto the main straight. It looks like Johannes Lepit is just getting in slipstream range too.
Yeah, and it's going to be a squabble for these last few laps now. Just 3 to go between, we're looking here from basically from Tuamala all the way back to Chavinsky. These 4 here. And you've got Lepit, Gillette behind them, waiting to pick up the pieces as down the inside goes. Whoa, Ockenhaug's late on the brakes there, but goes Chavinsky. He was trying to make a move. Ockenhaug braking very late, locking up the front right, getting away with it as Tuamala extending track limits there as we head down the short chute towards turn 4. And Ockenhaug has the slipstream advantage going down the inside of Mikhail into the left-hander. Mikhail gives him room. Around the outside goes Ockenhaug. Will he try and switch back? No, he tries to go around the outside. What a move if this sticks. If he sticks this, he's going to be run out of road. Yup, he's been run out of road by Tuamala and actually did a sensible thing of backing out of that and not trying to stick it around the outside. But Chavinsky is there to pick up the pieces. This could go all the way.
Well, Joe Gillette now getting himself involved in this battle as James Knox is on the back of Eugenio Lopez, and so that's not Tice Youngster, is it? No, it's not. It's not. That's the other Team RNG car right on the back of James Knox. I thought Tice Youngster was in this battle for the second position on the podium, but onto the main straight for the penultimate lap. Excellion Motorsports versus Cap Clay. James Knox is rapidly closing that gap between himself and Nuno Lopez, but as turn 1 approaches, will he be able to catch up enough? James Knox goes for the outside, is slightly later on the brakes than Nuno Lopez, but Nuno Lopez, with that inside line, able to carry a slight bit more speed from James Knox and is able to hold on to that position as here comes Philip Savinski and Magnus Ockenhaug down the inside of Tuamala. Tuamala falls down to 10th. Ockenhaug finds himself in P8 as Philip Savinski also got past Tuamala there, now in 9th. And Johannes Lepit and Joe Gillette behind, battling away as well. Philip Savinski on the outside of Magnus Ockenhaug. Johannes Lepit on the outside of Tuamala. Philip Savinski gets the inside line now and does get the inside line into the next corner as well. And that will find himself in P8 with Magnus Ockenhaug now behind him in this battle. We've still got a lap to go. Ockenhaug tries to find a gap into the S section. There's a yellow in Sector 1, but we're not worried about that. We're worried about this battle right here as Philip Savinski heads the train through the S section and into the straight circuit, straight part of the circuit. Ockenhaug battling away, tries for the outside as we go into the stadium section, is unable to get alongside, but will have the slipstream along the main straight as we head on to the final lap. And Philip Savinski through the final corner has 4 cars behind him, all waiting to take this 8th position from him.
It's going to be tight, isn't it, to see who finishes in that position. Obviously, at the front of the field, it's not so much. David de Vries absolutely rocking. That's not the right word. Disappearing out in the front of the pack. He's 7 seconds in front of Junior Lopez as they begin the final lap. But here we go, down into turn 1 then. Chavinsky on the inside. We've got Ockenhaug on the outside, and down the inside as well behind them was Van der Smissen. Excuse me. What's happened to Ockenhaug?
Contact with Savinski, and Ockenhaug goes round and falls all the way back to 12th on the final lap. He was running in P9 and was running for contention for that 8th position as Johannes Lepit tries to go down the inside of Tuamala, but here's what happened into the first corner. Ockenhaug on the outside becomes the inside, and there's Savinski. Does he have space there? I think he does, and just understeers into that priority 1 car.
It's interesting. It was one of those 50-50 ones, wasn't it? Although Ockenhaug had more space on the inside, Chavinsky also pinched him as tight as he dared. So 50-50 that one for me. But through the final corner comes David de Vries, and he's been very dominant this race. Takes the victory for VMS Sun Edits and wins race 1 at Mexico. Through comes Junior Lopez to take P2 ahead of James Knox, who wasn't able to challenge right at the end, and Tice Youngster 4th. Sandeep Singh goes to 5th place. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Justin van der Smissen, who is P6. Victor Bernat takes 7th. Chavinsky does take that 8th position from Tuamala. Lepit's in 10th. Ockenhaug in 11th place. Soppinen 12th. Joe Gillette, Kurt Rojalv and Kanaya rounding out the points-paying positions.
Something happened to Joe Gillette on that last lap as well, because he was running in P11 ahead of his teammates. And perhaps there was contact that happened as we got to watch David de Vries take that win across the line. I don't think we have replays anymore, but that did happen.
We do have replays, yeah. Remco
do we have the replay of it, of what happened?
Remco can throw a replay up, you just got to find it first.
Because did he... Joe Gillette. Did he make contact, or...?
Here we go, we're waiting for Remco to...
Here we go.
Flash the screen of orange, it's so bright.
Oh, no. Nope,
that's the start
of the race. I don't think that's what we're going for, really, is it? No.
And donuts.
Here we go. Joe Gillette. Johannes Lepit. The S section. And they go onto the straight.
Oh, Joseph!
Menning did. Charlotte Menning. With,
why is that a thing?
The exact same curb. It's that curb. I think that curb is upsetting quite a lot of cars on board. This curb here. Yeah.
Yeah, it just hooks.
Interesting.
I haven't seen that once in the obviously the bits of practice sessions I've watched in Super League and the testing and so on, but must be a thing in Formula Sprint 2. Anyway, the results then, Alex. All yours, friend.
Incredible. There we go, there's the results. David Prix takes the win from Junior Lopez in second. James Knox rounds out the podium. Tice Youngstra behind them with Sandeep Singh in fifth. Justin van der Smith in sixth. Victor Bernat was able to take seventh with Philip Savinsky, Mikkel Tuomala and Johannes Lepit behind him. Almost losing out quite significantly on that last lap then was Magnus Ockenhaug, who finishes in 11th with Juho Soponen behind him. Joe Gillette with a spin as well finishes 13th with Kurt Rochov 14th and Andrea Shania finishing in 15th. Then it's Dan Hutt outside of the points 16th, Alfie Denley 17th, Domenico Scarpelli 18th, Eric Brenner 19th with Christian Glansetter finishing 20th. Then in 21st is Caroline Harving with Yuri Kratichvil behind her, 22nd. Mark Solagi finishes 23rd with Christian Vazdar and oh my goodness me, I cannot get this name right. Lorenzo Eterovic Funcic finishing 25th. And then our non-finishers are Danny Robbins, Charlotte Menink, and Alex Day, 26th, 27th, and 28th. And that was, in fact, probably the cleanest race we've had in quite some time, Toby.
Not bad, was it? Pretty good for Formula Sprint 2, considering. But yeah, it's nice to see some good battles there. A very dominant win though in the end for David de Vries, and hopefully he's just put lots and lots of effort in for this round. And there's nothing else going on. I really haven't seen any of this pace for the whole season, really. But there we go. He takes a very commanding victory. Race 1 at Mexico, Alex. And let's see what happens in race 2. Will it be an 11th place reverse grid? That is the question.
Well, it'll be answered after the break that we take while we switch sessions.
Welcome back. Alex, I'm sure you'll be happy to reveal the reverse grid position.
Yeah, can I get a drum roll, if you can, if that's possible?
Say it before my hands stop.
It's P15. Yeah, it's not P11, unfortunately.
Yeah. Which is the generative number for the most amount of chaos.
33 races. 33 events.
Yeah. That is a long old time.
15th now becomes the most selected reverse. Well, I shouldn't say selected. Most generated reverse grid poll number. It has appeared 8 out of the last 33 occurrences of reverse grids we've had. So it clearly is biased towards 15th and doesn't want to give us P11. But we are currently living in probably the largest statistical anomaly that's ever happened in GPVWC, and I find that incredible.
It is. It's been a ridiculous amount of time. Crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is quite crazy. I wonder. I wonder if we do a reverse grid at GPVWC Day and we see if we get 11th there at the karting. Because I bet that would happen. We would do 10th from 15th and then we would get 11th and only then. And then from there on after, it would be completely benign, completely absent of a P11 reverse grid. We normally skip this warm-up session. I realize.
Yeah, it's we can still sometimes we come back in and chat for ages. Sometimes about cats, don't we? So.
That's what we're missing. You got any new pictures that we can put up on the screen? Is that possible?
I mean, no, we're not actually going to do this again. That was last week.
No, because we gotta have a channel in the Discord called FS2 Cat Pictures Submissions, and then we'll put one up each. I'll have a graphic in the corner. FS2 Cat of the Week. Put it up in the corner for the warm up. I don't see any problem with that plan, really. Just me? Okay.
We could.
I think that'd be a key addition because, you know, the slidey graphic that's getting a bit old.
Slidey graphic was fun a couple of rounds, then we realised why Vincent never let us have it because it was so terrible.
It was just awful.
It was. He was right. He quite often is, to be honest.
It was funny.
That's
what mattered.
It takes so long to change the next page as well. That's the other problem with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the old F1 graphic that was at the bottom of the screen and would just slide along.
Yeah, but you'd have to wait 20 seconds for another, your best mate to come up.
You want to see how far ahead Vettel was back in 2012, and all of a sudden you have to wait what felt like forever to see. It was just in this awful, constantly sliding sort of news format, how it was showing you the positions.
Yeah, it was. Crazy.
A few things I remember when I was just little, watching Formula One. Looking at
when I was little watching Formula One, Hakkinen was winning the championship.
And I was like 5 probably. I still remember it was Canada. I don't know what year. I would assume 2012 because that's the year I, for whatever reason, remember the most of. Where they had the big Red Bull can on the rear wing instead of what they have now, which is that tiny little banner inside the rear wing that advertises the actual drink.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, the Red Bull livery's definitely changed loads over the years, hasn't it?
Better or for worse. That's for you to
I mean,
decide.
they're Red Bulls, but I do think it could have done with like a few sort of shake-ups would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Of course, since 2014 or was it 2016 that they changed the livery to this sort of more modern
Mad thing,
style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they haven't really changed it since, other than shuffle it around. But Oracle on the side now instead of Red Bull. That's
That's
big
just money,
improvement.
though, isn't it? It's just dollar talking.
Yeah. I think that the peak of this era of Red Bull livery was 2021, but that might have just been the car and how the car looked at the time.
Yeah, I do think the cars are a little ugly. This latest gen are a little ugly. I don't really get on with the drop nose idea where it connects to the front wing. I think that's an old look from like the early 90s, late 80s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one of the best looking cars ever, in my opinion, is the 1991 Tyrrell, which had I don't know what you call it, nose where the wings came from the nose, but the nose was raised, so they came down on like an angle. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. No, we don't have cars like that anymore. They all look the same now.
They do.
I
Well,
know that's part of the regulations.
That's because of the regulations, yeah. As you know very well, building next year's model. How are we getting on with that, by the way?
It looks like a car.
Yes.
It doesn't drive yet. That's
Still waiting for the driving version.
yeah.
okay.
Well, I have to. There's a lot of work still to do, and I didn't realize there was a lot of work still to do. But we've got the formation lap, and I'm going to talk about the grid order.
Yes, it's your turn.
This race that we're about to watch and we're about to enjoy, and it is Andrea Shania who takes pole from the reverse grid with Kurt Rochav behind him. Joe Gillette and Juho Soppinen are on the second row. Then it's Magnus Ockenhaug and Johannes Lepit, with Mikael Tuomala and Philip Savinsky 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Then Victor Manat starts 9th with Justin van der Smissen behind him. Sandeep Singh and Thijs Jongstra round out our reverse grid in 11th and 12th. No, they don't. It's 15th, never mind. 13th is James Knox with Junio Lopez and David De Vries starting 14th and 15th, with Dan Hurt starting 16th. Alfie Denley starts 17th with Domenico Scarpelli behind him in 18th, with Eric Brenner and Christian Glanzada 19th and 20th. Behind them is Caroline Harvig and Yuri Kratichvili, 21st and 22nd, with Mark Salagi and Christian Vastar starting 23rd and 24th. Then finally, it's Lorenzo Eterovic Puncic with Danny Robbins, the two Mapes Row cars, 25th and 26th, with Alex Day starting by his lonesome on that final row in 27th.
By his lonesome.
By his lonesome. Mm-hmm.
By his lonesome. I like it. Pick a winner then. Pick a winner, sir.
I was correct last time. Sandeep Singh, I'm gonna say he
Sandeep
well
Singh
this one.
from 11th.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gonna fight back from 11th this time. I think he can manage that.
I'm going to go Kurt Rochav from P2. I think Kurt has got a sensible amount of pace. And I think probably enough, actually, to hold on.
Well,
We'll see.
18 laps will decide who's right or wrong. Maybe both of us are wrong. Absolutely possible. But the fans, the people. It doesn't really work, does it?
We've got our own fans in YouTube. Hello, everyone. Pick a winner in the YouTube chat. As we wait for the lights to come on. Here they are then. Race 2 is going to be underway momentarily. And we go. What a getaway there by Kanaya from the very front row. But of course, Rochav straight away into his slipstream. trying to get down to turn 1 first. They're going to go side by side. It's such a long run down into that first complex. You can get 4 or 5 wide, and through the middle is trying to go Joe Gillette, and Joe Gillette is going to lead this race. Into the first corner they go for Hunter Birch. What a move from him. As now bouncing over the curbs. He's going to run wide. He's going to lose a couple of positions here. But his teammate, what a move down the inside. And takes that position away from Rochav and Kanaya, who's immediately dropped back to P3, showing you do not have to be on pole position, as down the insides goes Tuamala on him as well, just to make matters worse. And we've got Ockenhaug side by side here with Johannes Lepit as Sandeep Singh's on the outside of 4. That's not going to be good news. Someone's going to come off worse. Oh, and there's a car with no front wing, no wheel.
Oh dear. And this is the race to chaos that we've known and we've loved. But oh dear, what's going on there? And my race winner prediction, Sandeep Singh, comes off quite poorly from that accident and probably retires from this race. But I'd quite like to watch that again to see what has happened. I believe Sandeep Singh's got quite a bit of damage from that 4 wide, and I don't think that should have ever happened. But
can we watch that? Can we watch that back? Because that looked like a lot of stuff going on there. We'll have to catch up on the replay momentarily. Let's just catch the back end of lap 1 as Joe Gillette then for Hunter Birch leads from Rochav, but they are well within slipstreaming distance. Let's see who's going to win this one then. But Singh is out. As is Van der Smissen, and David de Vrij down to 20th as well.
Yeah, but both of our championship contenders, Lopez and Singh, both retiring from this race. So Singh, in fact, will lose quite a bit of distance from Lopez, but I think after that, it might not be as close as the championship was entering this round, as Ockenhaug struggling, it seems, losing a position to Andreas Shania. But another thing I want to watch back as we pass the fateful corner once more, with the rest of the pack a lot cleaner this time. But look at the gap that was carved out by that absolute carnage in the middle of the pack. Joe Gillette still holding onto that lead, but that was a fantastic move made by Joe Gillette to find the gap on the inside. Here's the replay then. This is what happened in turn 1. Joe Gillette found that gap. Here's what happened to Ockenhaug, who once again seems to get involved with someone through turn 2 and was on the inside of Andreas Shania and had contact. In fact, one of the Excellion cars, or the Makes Road cars, was around into turn 1, and this is the battle then that caused Sandeep Singh and all 4 of these cars, Junior Lopez, Justin Van der Smith.
Oh, Lopez has no suspension. Yeah, he's got loads of damage there, look.
And then this is just...
I'd like to watch that on board with Van der Smissen, ideally. But Lopez has been hit very hard here. And he's going to exit the corner with extreme suspension damage, look. So he's got no turning ability. What is going on?
Someone went down the inside.
Well, no, I think this is Van der Smissen, right? On the outside of him. What is he turning into him for?
He has someone on the outside of him, and then there's someone...
What's he doing?
I just think it was a utterly idiotic decision to go 4 wide in this corner overall. If we watch it from
why
the
are we
outside,
turning? Why are we turning right into Lopez there? I don't know. I just again, same as race 1. I don't know what I'm watching. Like, I can't. It's so unfathomable that I can't get my head around what I'm watching. Like, why couldn't they all get through that corner? Why are we turning into each other and crashing? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Either way, Kurt Rochav, in the time we were watching that replay, got past Joe Gillette for the lead, and your bet for the win. Now 8 tenths ahead through the final section.
Yeah, poor Joe. I don't know what's happened in that. Whilst we were watching the replay, obviously that's happened. But Rochav, I have to say, I think Rochav probably does just about have enough pace here. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Tricky.
Well, Joe Gillette in the slipstream into turn 1. I don't think he's close enough on this lap. Try and make a move into turn 1, and indeed he isn't. 3 attempts behind into the braking zone, which is sort of similar to what he has behind as Philip Savinski goes down the inside of Johannes Lepit. edged a nose ahead temporarily, but now has the better exit into turn 4. And down that straight is a battle of straight line speeds, as Johannes Lepit will have the inside, but Philip Savinsky will have the inside into the subsequent corner here, but wasn't able to get late enough onto the brakes. And you can't go for a move there, Philip. You didn't have the right to space, as Johannes Lepit does technically turn in on Philip Savinsky there, but he went for a dive that he did not have the realistically any right to do. Around the outside, tried to go for a dive bomb into the inside, into that braking zone. Did get alongside, but not before. It really mattered for him to have space, but Hans Lepit still in this race and still will be able to battle to take that position back from Philip Savinsky as they head onto the main straight through the leaders. Joe Gillette has quite a significant gap now to Kurt Rochov, almost a second onto the straight, and I think that will essentially be an end to Joe Gillette's probably hopes of getting this win here. But like I said, there's 13 laps to go here, so anything still can happen. Thijs Jungstra in the slipstream of Johannes Lepit is the closest out of anyone to the back of another car in this entire pack. But as we head onto the straight, it seems like Johannes Lepit has a massive straight line speed advantage over Philip Savinsky as he now takes the outside line into turn 1, is much further ahead into the braking zone of turn 1, does get that 6th position from Savinsky as Juho Soppinen battling away with Alfie Denley, who has got himself up into 9th position, as Thijs Jungstra once more on the back of Savinsky will be going for that battle as Johannes Lepit once more defending from Philip Savinsky and does get the position back.
The thing is with Chavinsky, he's another one of those drivers that's sort of been up and down a little bit this season. He had that race win at Nürburgring, didn't he? But he's also had... he's been fairly consistent recently, but he's had a bit of bad luck as well. And I think he deserves a decent result in race 2 here. Let's see what he can do. He was a bit battered around, wasn't he? And caught up in some of that stuff that we saw at Monza. Can he move his way up the field? It looks like Johannes Lepit is kind of the cork in the bottle here, as we've got a big old squabble behind going on. Scapelli there, the remaining potentiator in the race, trying to make some positions up for that team, as Alfie Denley hops over the curb towards the final couple of corners in that Blue Horns vehicle. And yeah, they are quite a bit back now, aren't they, with that with Lepit being the lead car in this train, as Denley lines up a move towards turn 1. Shalagi on the outside, and they're all ducking and diving, trying to find some slipstream, defending from one another. Potentially goes down the middle and now has the outside line on the rubber, brakes later and takes the position back from Denley up to P10 for Scapelli.
Yeah, he found that gap on the middle like Joe Gillette did on the first lap to get the lead temporarily. Scapelli has now used that to find himself in 10th position, getting past Alfie Denley and Mark Salagi in quite a majestic way, it has to be said. Domenico Scarpelli, of course, I think he was using a very similar, if not the same setup as his teammate, had a great straight line speed advantage as Alfie Denley runs himself off the circuit. But as we look ahead, Johannes Lepit trailing Philip Savinsky now, and under pressure from Thijs Jungstra very close behind through the S section and onto the straight. Johannes Lepit did gain a bit of time through that S section, mainly due to the dirty air effect, but Juho Soppinen behind Thijs Jungstra is actually quite close as we head into the penultimate section of the track. Johannes Lepit quite early on the brakes, and that allows Thijs Jungstra to be on the back of that Hut Performance Racing car, and as we head onto the straights, he is quite close and will have the slipstream for the entire duration of the straight. Of course, he'll get it from Lepit, but once he's alongside Lepit, he will get it from Philip Savinsky as well. Johannes Lepit swerving across that straight to try and break that slipstream, but it will not matter as Thijs Jungstra pulls to the inside, but just loses the straight line speed advantage he had, does go later on the brakes, and they are side by side into turn 2. Johannes Lepit with, not Hans Lepit, with the inside line. He didn't have the speed to make that move work, but Joe Gillette is battling away with Kurt Rochov up ahead. It's 3 cars in the battle here. Mikael Tuomala battling with Joe Gillette. Joe Gillette battling with Kurt Rochov. Kurt Rochov seems to be struggling a bit now, under pressure from 2 cars behind through the S's section. He will be able to get that gap a bit bigger and closer to comfort for Kurt Rochave, but Joe Gillette not giving up the battle so easily, and neither is Mikel Tuamala here.
Tuamala is in actually quite a good position here. He can look after his tyres, sit there in the slipstream and pick his time to pounce. He's got no danger from behind either from Ockenhaug as it stands. So yeah, Tuamala is the position I would want to be in right now, provided they don't let Rochave get away. He's got almost a second in that sector alone, down onto the start-finish straight. But then I think probably Rochave is running a little bit more downforce by the looks of things, because here comes Gillette now in the slipstream, is actually catching him back again. Here's Tuamala as well. Won't be close enough, I don't think, for a move down into turn 1, although we have seen stranger things happen. It's on Netflix, you can watch it. And into turn 1 they go. And Tuamala didn't make a move. What is Alfie Denley doing on the grass on the outside there as they head into turn 1? Trying to make a move, just about squeezing onto it, and he gets it. He holds onto it. What a move as well from Thijs Youngstra. And unfortunately behind them, Shalagi has spun. That was a case of 3 into 1 doesn't go. But yeah, Thijs Youngstra threw it down the inside and picked up a position as a result, as they all sort of concertinaed into that corner. Shalagi, unfortunately, was the loser as Thijs Youngstra goes down the inside of Alfie Denley then in the middle sector and through. He goes into P9. And Thijs has had some good pace this season. Let's see what he can do from here. They are 14 seconds back of the leader, of course, but yeah, and Gillette has lost that 1 second margin where you kind of get slipstream. So Gillette's got some work to do if he wants to catch back up and take potential victory from Rochave here.
Yeah, but Thijs Youngstra had 2 incredible moves there. He found the gap both times and got the move done. Here's a replay. I'm not sure what of. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh my God! Not again.
What are we watching now? Can we go back and look at that again on board?
That's Danny Robbins, I believe.
So Danny Robbins has been. What is Danny Robbins doing now? Like, that's awful. To be honest with you guys, like, we give up our... Like, James Knox has sent it down the inside and it's been pretty rubbish, but Robbins has had a complete head loss and put 2 cars into the wall and ended their race. Like, I don't know why... like, myself, Alex, Remco tonight, but usually Fabian, we give up our evenings for this. Like, we try the best we can to make this as fun for you guys as possible, and we're watching this. That is awful again. Tuamala is on the back of Joe Gillette, and this looks like he might be lining up a move for that P2. I think Tuamala could potentially get onto the back of Rochave if he gets his head down here and tries to get back into the lead of the race, or rather get into the lead of the race. He was on right up there in race 1, of course, so we know Tuamala has some pace. And here we go. He's got the slipstream on Gillette. He's closer than he has been on previous laps. Can he go down the inside? Yes, he can. And this is going to set up a nice finish to the race, the second half of the race. The battle at the front has been nice and fun, at least, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's it's been energetic. It's been, you're finding the gaps, and it's just been pure racing from the front here. Joe Gillette, of course, losing the position to Mikel Tuamala, but with the opportunity to fight back through this second sector and into the third, of course, if he's able to hold on. But Ockenhaug emerging from the ashes after a bit of a spin around in lap 1, now chases his teammate, and look at Hunter Birch with a relatively strong set of positions here, 3rd and 4th respectively, and with prospects to improve in the future, as Joe Gillette 7 tenths behind through the S's section, but Tuamala seems to have dragged him a bit closer to Kurt Rochave at the front, as Tuamala now enters the slipstream range through that final sector, and we're currently watching Ockenhaug on the back of this train. He's closed up to his teammates as well. So onto the straight, there could be quite a bit of interesting action going on here as Tuamala will have the slight slipstream from Kurt Rocha, but Joe Gillette will have very strong slipstream from Tuamala. Ockenhaug will be there as well. And into turn one, we've seen this happen many times before, where 3 abreast into turn one has happened, but Ockenhaug doesn't have the straight line speed, but Joe Gillette certainly does. Down the inside into turn one goes Joe Gillette and is convincingly past Mikel Tuamala as he heads into turn one. But I imagine, based on what we've seen already, Toby, that this battle will continue for many, many laps.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see some fighting back going on from Joe Gillette. Clearly, Tuamala unable to get away from him in that middle sector. So, but Rochav is not far enough ahead for them to be not a danger to him, if that makes sense. You know, they are close enough to pick up the tail end of a slipstream. But yeah, it's going to be close, isn't it? It's Victor Bernat and Scapelli, who doesn't seem to be. I'd like to go on board with Scapelli. It doesn't look like he's got a very straight car, because it was a little bit of kind of wibbly wobbling down the straight there, and that was a bit interesting. He might have picked up some damage at some point. Yeah, his wheels after. Actually, it's not too bad, is it? It was weird. It was kind of like he was wobbling from back to forth. I thought maybe he had some suspension well, his car doesn't look that easy to drive, I'm not going to lie. Especially through the left-handers. This will be interesting as we go down this straight. Is his wheel completely straight? Yeah, it's pulling to one side. Yeah, it's pulling, isn't it?
Through the corners as
it's
well.
It's pulling, isn't it? Yeah. So it's like, it's not easy to drive in a straight line, to be fair.
But Scapelli's doing what he can. And with this race going on how it is, anything could absolutely happen as Tuamala once more looks to get past Joe Gillette into turn one, but thinks better of it this time around than to slam onto the brakes slightly further ahead than Joe Gillette, and will hold on to the gap for one more lap as we watch Juho Soppinen defending here from Johannes Lepit. Lepit currently on the outside in turn 2, inside in turn 3. Soppinen runs off the circuit, but Thijs Jungstra once more trying to find the gap, and this time runs out of space, but will thread it right through the middle, and Thijs Jungstra on the outside of Juho Soppinen into turn 4. What a move by Thijs Jungstra there to get the overspeed out of turn 3 and then find the gap along the straight. And Thijs Jungstra has some fantastic racing in this race, has done quite well to find the positions that he has and find the gaps that he has to find himself in P7 right now.
Yeah, it was a great move, wasn't it? Timed his braking perfectly and just gave enough room on the apex to make it stick. But yeah, it shows that you can have clean racing in this series. It does happen from time to time. It's when it's good, it's great. This series, it's so good to watch, and that was a great example. Well done, Thijs.
Yes, that's a role model for the rest of the drivers to watch, and some perfect overtakes demonstrated here as we go onto the main straight with this massive train of cars here, headed, of course, by Thijs Jungstra. But here's Victor Bernat then on the back of Alfie Denley, on the back of the Blue Horns car. It's Scuderia Freccianera versus Blue Horns into turn 1. Victor Bernat still on the diffuser, now picks the inside into turn 1 as he hits onto the brakes, and they're still side by side into turn 2, but Alfie Denley with the better run in turn 1 was able to stay ahead temporarily. They're still battling ahead with Juho Soppinen and Johannes Lepit into turn 4. 3 tenths separate them along the straight, but Victor Bernat is much closer to Alfie Denley, picks the outside, which will turn into the inside, but is just unable to keep on the brakes. Tries to go for the switchback. Here's David de Vries then on the inside of Christian Glamsetter. He's managed to fight his way back from quite a distance behind after that lap 1 incident, now up into 13th, but Victor Bernat heads this train then, got past Alfie Denley through turn 6, and now into the S's section, has an opportunity to grow his gap and has an opportunity to catch up to Johannes Lepit ahead as well and get back into that slipstream and get back into that battle.
Can Gillette catch Rochav? That's the question I have. There's 5 laps to go, and it's difficult to say, isn't it? It's almost like Ockenhaug has caught these two in front of him. Tuamala right there with Gillette. It looks like he's going to make another move. He just needs to get away in the middle sector, and I feel like Tuamala probably has slightly more pace than the Hunter Birch driver. It's not like Rochiav's flying down the road, is it? He's only what, a couple of tenths, 1/10 per lap at best. And Tuamala just needs to. There's a car with a lot of damage. It looks like further down the road there. Is that Vazdar? I think it is. I think that's Christian Vazdar there, who hopefully will stay out of the way of these guys. And but yeah, Rochav, 1.2 seconds. If that gets below a second, then he will get the slipstream. Wasn't damaged. He was just off the road for some reason. But yeah, Rochav. Look, it's so close, isn't it, lap time wise? Tuamala just needs to get a couple of tenths in this middle section. He's not able to, is he? I think Rochav might just have done enough so far.
Well, there's still 3 and a bit laps for Kurt Rochav to do something here that may decrease that gap to Tuamala and allow Tuamala to exploit that gap and exploit the slipstream he'll have, as Joe Gillette seems to be struggling into that hairpin a little bit, outbraking himself. But that has increased his gap between himself and Mikael Tuamala as we head onto the straight. It's 0.8, but Magnus Ockenhaug is right on the back of his teammate and possibly here could be going for a move on his teammate, but I don't think they're going to be interested in battling too hard because they are in some very, very strong positions as Joe Gillette defends the inside from his teammate. Magnus Ockenhaug opts to take that outside line, and Ockenhaug is just on pure straight line speed able to get past Joe Gillette and is now the one trying to get past Tuamala for that second position on the podium. And in fact, if he gets ahead, he could be able to hold Tuamala back just a little bit to get his teammate also on the podium. Victor Bernat battling away with Johannes Lapitte once more, and Victor Bernat has got this move up into P9, and that was quite clean through turn 1, 2, and 3 as we watch the battle between David de Vries and Alfie Denley. Alfie Denley on the inside tries to go for the late breaking move but is unable to do so. Now relegates himself down to 12th as David de Vries makes the move up into 11th.
Yeah, something happened at the start of the race to de Vries. I didn't actually see what happened, but he dropped back to like 19th or 20th place, but now is clawing his way back into the points after that dominant race 1 drive. He clearly does still have some pace in this race, but something happened early in the race that dropped him down the field, as we have a replay. In fact, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch what happened to de Vries, and this is Denley poking his nose. Okay, this is what we saw with the rotating Excellion. Briefly, there's nothing wrong with what Denley's doing. This is just one of those where this 4 into 1 doesn't go. It's nothing really that Denley could do there, I don't think. On that occasion. Yeah, well held indeed. But that's what happened to David de Vries then.
As we go back to the live action, something was going on. Tuamala's got the lead somehow. What happened to Kurt Rochav? While we were watching the replay, Rochav now battling for his life in the lead and outbreaks himself and then loses the position to Magnus Ockenhaug as well. He's now fallen down to 3rd, and Joe Gillette as well looking to get into this action and potentially looking to get onto the podium. But Ockenhaug, prospects of the win. He was in 4th just a couple of laps ago, now in 2nd and now trailing the leader by less than half a second, and Joe Gillette getting in on this action as well. As much as I want to see a replay, as much as I want to know what happened to Kurt Rochav, there's not much time for it, as Kurt Rochav will be trying to battle to get back that 2nd position on the podium. Joe Gillette will be trying to battle with Kurt Rochav to get that 3rd position on the podium. And what has gone on?
I had no idea. I'd like to see it, but we also need to keep an eye on this live action, because they are going to be close enough to one another as they exit the final corner that there will be some slipstreaming down into turn 1. Ockenhaug 6 tenths back, Rochav only 5 tenths back, and Rochav in that double slipstream then. Look at this weaving that's going on from Tuamala. He knows he's got to break the slipstream as best as he can. You can't do it too many times or it becomes a bit silly, as Ockenhaug is gaining, not enough to make a move down into turn 1. I don't think. Ockenhaug thinks better of it, having tasted the victory at Monza. Can Ockenhaug get another Race 2 victory here? He's lining up Michael Tuomala in the Cap Clay machine. Rochav is right there as well. This is going to go all the way to the wire.
Yeah, I think Joe Gillette, just in these dying moments, may not have the pace required to find himself on the podium. But like I said, anything can happen to Kurt Rochav here. And absolutely anything can happen for Joe Gillette to find himself on the podium. And at this rate, who knows? Joe Gillette could find himself winning this race. He's got 3 cars ahead of him. But all 3 of those cars, something could go wrong, but I hope it doesn't. I hope there's clean battling, as we've got 7 temps between Magnus Ockenhaug and Michael Tuomala. Heading into the 3rd sector we go then. And look at the gap closing for Ockenhaug. Look at the gap closing for Rochav as well. So both of these drivers, in fact, will have a chance and have an opportunity for the lead into turn 1. I would not like to be Tuomala in this position here, because he's got 2 very, very quick cars behind him in the slipstream range, and Ockenhaug within 3 temps as we enter onto the straight. This is the same distance he made the move on his teammate just a few laps ago, as Magnus Ockenhaug in that slipstream is now coming alongside Michael Tuomala, and it's significantly faster than Michael Tuomala heading into turn 1. He's on that inside line, and I think he's much further ahead of Tuomala and is convincingly in the lead in this final lap of race 2 here at Mexico. Kurt Rochav is not far off the back of Tuomala, but Tuomala in the slipstream towards turn 4 has a couple more opportunities to try and take this back, but Tuomala decides to stay behind for now and bide his time into that 2nd sector.
Well, Ockenhaug defended thin air then, which was a bit... it wasn't required. There was no way that Tuomala was going to make a move from there, but I think that's pretty much it. Unless he makes a mistake in this middle to final sector, I think Ockenhaug might have this sewn up for yet another victory for Hunter Birch. What a move that was in the end, to take the lead, and he stayed to the inside of the track as well. So he was like, come on, Michael, if you want this, you have to come all the way over here to get a slipstream, and then swept to the outside of the track to take the lead. Good move from Ockenhaug. I like it a lot. And he looks like he's going to take the victory. He's not going to be overtaken here. There's 2 corners to go after this, and it looks like Ockenhaug's going to take the victory. Please get out of the way, back marker, as we come through the final corner. What's going on? Ockenhaug's going to take the victory. He is. And through the final corner we go. Ockenhaug takes the win from Tuomala, Rochav and Joe Gillette. And that was an exciting finale, wasn't it, Alex? That was very, very close. Couldn't call that one with a couple of laps to go.
No, when Ockenhaug was in... What has happened to Tuomala? But when Ockenhaug was in that position, that prime position of 3rd behind Tuomala, who had just caught up to Kurt Rochav, he had all the cards, and he seems to have played them perfectly here in race 2. And Magnus Ockenhaug, like you said, takes the win for Hunter Birch Racing the 2nd time this season. And I think for Ockenhaug, he's done that race perfectly. We didn't think he had the pace to get past his teammate, but he got past the teammate of Joe Gillette, and it's a very, very strong result for Hunter Birch, who were 3rd and 4th, now finished 1st and 4th.
I don't think much of his donut skills, but a great victory there for Magnus Ockenhaug to take the win for Hunter Birch. Let's have a little look at the results then. And this is how race 2 finished then. Magnus Ockenhaug taking the victory, as we said, from Tuomala, and Rochav rounding out the podium. Joe Gillette 4th. He had a chance at victory earlier on in the race. Kanaya 5th. Philip Javinski in 6th place for Priority 1, with Thijs Youngstra 7th. Victor Bernat in 8th place. Juho Soppanen and Johannes Lepitt rounding out the top 10. 11th place then went to David de Vries, our race 1 winner. Scarpelli in 12th, Alfie Denley 13th, Shalagi and Christian Glamsetter rounding out the point scorers. Alex Day, Kratichville, Harvig, Lorenzo Aturovic Puncic, Brenner and Vazdar were the final finishers. And then we had the DNFs. Danny Robbins with an appalling move to take out James Knox. Dan Hutt also retiring from the race, and Sandeep Singh, Van der Schmissen and Lopez. 3 into 1 does not go, and to be honest with you, that wasn't the best look either, to be brutally honest.
Yes. I do believe we have a replay. All right, I'm not sure if we quite have it just yet if we go to our interview screen, but we do have a replay of what happened to Kurt Rochav for him to be in a compromised position, and yeah, Remco's just going to go and collect it. But so
Oh, you've been
been
doing
reading-
private messages.
no, it's in broadcast team.
Oh, that would be where it is. Okay, no, fair enough.
So what I'm reading in FS2 chat, the long and short of it seems to be Kurt Rochov was held up by a back marker. It might have been, it might have not been intentional. Hopefully, it wasn't intentional. Let's see. Let's see what happened.
Indeed, let's see what happened. Remco keeps saying 1 second. It's been the longest second of my life, this.
1, 2. All right.
That was quick, wasn't it?
Oh. So this is that's Christian Vazda. That's Kurt Rochov behind him. We're about to enter the stadium section. We've got all the graphics on screen, and then we'll unpause and we'll watch what happens. So there's Christian Vazda. Kurt Rochov's behind him. There's the first blue flag for Vazda. Okay. And then he's let by on straight. Do you see anything wrong with that, Toby? I don't.
Not really. It's not whoa. It's not
That's close,
ideal because he's a lap down and miles away, so he could have jumped out of the way a little bit sooner. But equally, it's a very short section of track. You know, from the first blue flag to the next or whatever. It's not ideal, but I don't think it's malicious, to be honest with you. But yeah, he could have probably jumped out the way just a little bit sooner, but not ideal. Could have maybe got out of the way of all of this pile of cars before the final sector, or rather in the final sector, and then this is what happened with Rochov, who outbraked himself, and that is the moment then that the race was gone really for him, wasn't it? So yeah.
Well, interviews time.
Yeah, I think we've got to start with championship contenders, haven't we, really?
Yes.
So let's find out from, because we're getting towards the business end of the season, I think let's just drag in Sandeep and speak to him and see what his opinion on race 2 was. Because he's very close to winning the title now, of course, as well. So, Sandeep, hello.
No, I didn't want to interview.
Why are you in the wait here for interview room?
I was talking to a couple others.
We've done it again.
I even messaged you. Don't drag me in.
Oh, I thought you meant because I mentioned you in the actual commentary.
Oh no, I didn't watch commentary. No.
Oh, to be fair, he did specifically say don't drag me in. What he?
Okay. Well,
I mean, it's poor wording. All right, I'll ask. You're here now. One question. Talk. What happened in race 2?
I was. I had an incident and I DNF'd. Is probably just the quickest way to summarize it. I haven't watched it back. I just don't want to say something.
Fine, no worries. Thank you, Sandeep. Sorry to drag you in. I misunderstood your message. I do apologise.
Thank you.
No.
Before I go though, congratulations on your engagement.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that a lot.
And then,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. See you later. Bye.
Nice one. All right, okay. Your turn, Alex, because I made a mistake. I mean, he said, don't drag me in. I was like, lol, I will. Because I thought he meant... because of what I was saying about the race 2 incident, but he actually meant into the interview room. That's my bad.
well, if we're doing championship contenders, we just bring in Junior Lopez, don't we?
Go for it.
Laz. Junior? Well, thoughts. Race 1. You fought quite well to get to the position you did. You finished, I believe it was second.
Yep.
So, what was your thoughts on race 1? How was it? Because you did retire in race 2, so we'll focus mostly on what happened in race 1. What were your thoughts there?
It was good. Race 1 was good. Yeah.
Any particular highlights or just strong performance?
Just drove the car.
Incredible.
Yep.
Should we talk about race 2 then?
If you really want to.
I mean, you got sandwiched, didn't you? Really, and there's not much you could do, to be fair. Well, if that's all you have to say, that's not really the most exciting interview.
I mean, if you want me to talk, I mean, I saw this stream right after, and I have to say, I agree 100% with Toby. Like, why is this happening all the time, man? Why? You know? Because it makes... Why are we doing this? Like, it shouldn't be like this, you know? So messy, really.
It's a hard watch, and it sometimes can be hard to commentate on. We've been doing it all season, and it's... when the racing is good, it's really good. We've had some excellent races this season and some excellent racing. But when it's bad, it's been so bad. It's just a poor reflection on what could be a really good division of GPVWC. And it comes, like, we try to make it fun in the commentary, as fun as we can, and entertaining for everyone. And it's a bit of a, I want to take pride in what we're doing and watch a good product. And to be honest with you, there's been too many instances this season which just could have been avoided, and people who aren't taking it seriously, Junior, that's the opinion I have. And I said it in the broadcast itself as well. It's one of those where, like, there's been a few times this season for yourself as well where if luck had been on your side, you could have put a proper challenge in for the title all season. But it's just sometimes it hasn't quite gone your way.
Yeah, 100%. There's just some things you can't explain, I guess. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Junior. I will leave you to it. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, I'll tell you who will be happy.
Yes, we do have one person in there that might be happy, and it's this person here.
Hello.
Magnus, look at this. We're talking again.
I sort of hinted towards like a shake that we will see each other again, but I didn't expect it to be this soon. But
another victory, second of the season, 2 in 2 rounds. What could have been at the start of the season, hey?
But I think like this makes up for it. Like being strong towards the end of the season, like really helps with motivation going forward. And I thought all hopes was lost when I had that half spin in on lap 1, but I managed to play tactically smart and save tires and let whatever chaos unfold and go from there. It's almost similar to, like, when I won in Kota last year, I just stay behind, baited, and then like attacked one by one. It's sort of similar.
Fair enough. Do you think, like, where you made that move, obviously Rochard was held up by the back marker. Do you think that was affected his final couple of laps as a result of that? I mean, did you see the back marker in front of you, and what was your opinion?
I won't really comment on it right now, but like obviously I feel a bit for Kurt. He worked hard for it, and he also had a bit of a gap before it happened, but I won't comment further. Just gonna let the stewards decide the outcome and then go from there. And then hopefully we might as well see each other in Singapore as well, because I had some bad luck there recently, but my form usually there has been good, so I'm gonna keep pushing and see what the end of the season is gonna bring for me.
Nice. Well, I can see your team boss has deafened himself. I would have dragged him in otherwise, but congratulations, Magnus. Well done on another victory, and hopefully we will see you soon in Singapore.
Yeah, hopefully.
Thanks, mate. I think I might be done there, to be fair, Alex.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to slide into my shell for another 2 weeks and ignore GPVWC.
That's so sad.
It's so much better than actually being involved in the GPVWC community, especially after this race, to be fair.
I feel you. I feel deflated as well. I mean, this is such a great place to be, usually. And we've had such a battle to get Formula Sprint 2 to be halfway sensible. And it's just not happening right now. So
It's an uphill battle.
yeah,
Somewhat feels Sisyphean, but
the other series are all flying. That's the thing. It's Formula Sprint 1's great. Super Lights, there's a championship battle to the end. Super League has been incredible this season. So there's plenty of positives. It's just this series has just been a tricky watch. And to be honest with you, there's been some nightmare driving as well. So I really hope that changes for the next round, because it's I've got better. Yeah, we've got things to do, haven't we, Alex? So
yes.
Anyway, cool. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Hope you all, everyone that stayed and is staying positive, please do come back. We try our very best here. And
Singapore next.
yeah, Singapore next in a couple of weeks' time. Obviously, Formula Sprint 1 Thursday. Next week will be Super Lights and Super League. Love to everyone. Enjoy your next couple of days, and we'll see you soon. Until then, I've been Toby Davis. Thank you for watching.
Bye bye.